Welcome back to the Creatively Curious podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Walter. In this week's episode, I'll be reviewing week 11 of the Creative Visionary program. And week 11 is the focus of the week is called balance. So, just a reminder that we're working on our series of 3 paintings, which I guess technically I'm working on 3 paintings. And so it's just takeaways from this week of work and incorporating all of the principles that we've been learning from week to week into our series. And also a reminder for me that if you're local to the Edmonton area, I will be at the White Avenue Art Walk, which is coming up July 11th, 12th, and 13th. So please come visit me. I'll be it's an area called South Bark, which I believe is an off-leash dog park normally, but it's a grassy area by 106th Street, right on White Avenue. And so come and find me there. I believe there's music and things like that in that area, so that should be fun. So this week's takeaways are value and design have the most visual weight. Contrast is impactful, so dark versus light. And those are just kind of reminders of principles that we've learned that the value, so the lightness and darkness in your work and design where things are placed is the most important piece. Design, value, color, texture, all can be used to balance your art. They all have different weights. We want people to move all around the painting. So we want all areas to be interesting. We want our eye to be moving all around the painting, not just focused on one area. And so it depends what you want to focus on in your painting, what you might highlight. So sometimes people will highlight color, and so then the design and value kind of takes, I wouldn't say design, but value might take a lesser role then if you're highlighting color, and texture can be used too, which again, I think I use too much texture. So we'll see how things do at the art walk. The third takeaway, your process is designed by you for you. So basically, my understanding of what that is just you paint for you. Don't paint for someone else. And if you love it, then that will be felt in the painting and other people will love it too. Fourth takeaway is art is finished when you feel alive, up close and far away. So basically, when you really love it close and when you really love it far. So one thing I always do is I put my paintings like on a shelf or somewhere where I can take a really big step, a number of steps backwards to take a look at it. And I think that's where that value and design really are highlighted. So step away from it, and do you like it when it's far away? And then take get right up close to it, and do you love it close? So some of the paintings that I worked on for this series, I do like them far away, but I feel like I kind of love them more close up. So we'll see what happens with that. I did a lot of texture. I really played around with texture using some coarse molding paste and some glass bead gel and things like that. And so they're very textury, but I really like that. So, uh, and then I wrote down a quote. I was gonna maybe mention it. Um, about when things are finished. So Amy Livesey was one of the artist coaches who uh, we saw. I believe she was there last year too, but she said a piece is finished when I love every part of it. And I really enjoy that quote. I wrote that down because again, I mentioned that, but if you love it, then generally somebody else will probably love it too. And really loving every piece of the painting generally would mean that it's finished. You like every piece, the design works, the value works, the color works. So, and the fifth takeaway is later stage changes often are smaller but require larger sensitivity. So you're not changing like big, huge pieces of the painting. you're doing kind of more fine tuning, but your sensitivity to the whole piece and to what you're doing will be increased. And ask yourself, like, how sensitive can I be and what little thing can I add here or even possibly take away here. And again, I love this because feel like I'm quite a sensitive person, and I'm not sure that's always embraced in our culture and with lots of people, but here in the art world it is embraced. It is a strength. So how can you be more sensitive and really feel into what would make the painting stronger, by adding something or taking away? Um, and so he also Nick went on to talk about kind of clarity regarding the series. So when you're working on a number of pieces, generally for a show or like an art walk or something like that, um, how do you know they're finished? What can you do to kind of get clarity around that? So, and then he talked about like a focus. So what is the one thing that I wanted to do here? What did I want to achieve? Was I focusing on color, realism, spontaneity? So did that happen, or has that focus changed? And he talked a lot about feeling. So coming up with a feeling that you want to feel and that you'd like the viewer to feel in each piece. So did you achieve that feeling? And what's not needed? What can be taken away or edited down? I know for myself, I find that I end up kind of adding more and more, and I really have to like remind myself to walk away and not just keep kind of adding things, because that's not always making it better. And if you have like a, I forget what he calls it, like a dog's lunch or a garage sale or something, like all these things on the piece, like it just doesn't make it stronger. So and I guess that's also where it would be nice to have the feedback. We don't get feedback really unless from the coaches on our work. So that's one thing I feel like I wish I had throughout the program is feedback on each piece. Like, is this too much texture? Is this a dog's breakfast? Because sometimes you just get a little bit too close to it. So he also mentioned, walking away. So just walking away, going, doing other things, coming back a few days later, coming back fresh to it. What feels old or tired, and let those things go. And he likens paintings to people. So which painting or person would you want to hang out with more? Who would you want to be spending most of your time with? Like, which painting would you love to have hanging in your house and would you just love looking at and exploring more? And so what's making that work more for you than the other paintings that you're working on? And can you do more of that in the other painting? So hopefully this is helpful to you. So week 11 balance, creative visionary program. And next week will be week 12, which will be the end of my exploration of the creative visionary program on this podcast. So week 12 is launch. And I guess that for me is showing up at the art walk, which I guess I'll maybe speak a little bit more about that for the next episode. But that always brings up a lot of a lot of the feels for me. But I could talk about that more then, and then I'll just keep exploring creativity going forward on the podcast. Now, I believe I'll be taking a break for the summer, most of July and August, and then I'll be back in September. So if you have any ideas for the podcast, please send me a note, and I'd be happy to take a look at your suggestions. And just for anyone who's watching this, just remember that you are a work of art, and I'll see you on the next episode.